We are celebrating love today. Love for your pet, love for your significant other, your family, the sun, the cake you might be snacking on while you're watching the video, and of course, books. I mean, let's be honest, books really. We're celebrating the love for books. Hey everyone, welcome to a new collaboration video. I'm Fina, and I'm so excited to share this video with you. I challenged my BookTube friends with a new prompt, which is books that make your heart jump. And I left it up to them how they want to interpret it. Don't forget to take some time to check the description box down below because I put the links to all of their channels down there. Go check them out, and if you like them, consider subscribing, leaving a nice comment saying hi. And without further ado, I assume you want to see what they came up with. So let's get started with the recommendations.
All right, hello everybody, my name is Jake. I am from the channel Nerd Level Rising, and I'm here with a recommendation book for something that makes my heart jump, which was a very easy choice for me. So thank you, Fina, for inviting me to be part of this. This is awesome. I love doing this kind of thing. It's so fun. But for this, Yumi and the Nightmare Painter by Brandon Sanderson. I hope that you can see this on the camera okay with this sort of holographic cover. I had to get the special edition. It's just so beautiful, and the story means so much to me. So what is this about? This is about two people who are very separate, but then their stories start to kind of collide and come together, and we get even more interesting things happening there. So there's so many themes of finding your place in the world and what is your purpose? What am I doing here? There's themes about art and what does it mean to create art? What does it mean to appreciate art? What's the point of all of this? How does all this work? And we're seeing how do people who are on the surface very different and very opposing, and how do they learn to work together? How do they learn to appreciate each other? How do they do all these things, navigate life's struggles together and separately? And all around this, we have this just wonderful romance story that I don't usually seek out romance. I love it, right? I'm not opposed to it at all, but it usually is just there as another thing that's going on in this story, right? I don't read usually just purely for romance, but this is nonetheless my favorite romance I've ever read. It just really spoke to me on a lot of personal levels, and I cried like a baby multiple times. It's just beautiful. It's heart-wrenching. It's uplifting. It really made me run the emotional gambit, and I thought the ending was incredibly satisfying and well done. And like I said, great theme work. There's some great action in here. There's some great humor. There's some great just slow character moments where things kind of slowly unfold, and we're learning more and more about our main characters here. So if that sounds interesting, check it out. Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, complete standalone. You don't have to read the rest of the Cosmere, like I said. But yeah, fantastic.
Hello. My name is Kate, and my channel is Kate Coy. Thank you very much, Fina, for asking me to participate in this. I was very excited to do so. And for a book that made my heart jump, there were a couple different ways I could have taken this, and I ultimately decided on the book that made my heart feel all of the emotions, from racing in really high tension moments to aching in some of the more rough emotional moments, and I just felt all of the feelings for this one, and that was Jade City by Fonda Lee, which is the first book in the Greenbone saga. I know a ton of people have talked about this, so I am certainly not the first to fall in love with it, but as a character-driven reader, I have never read another book that made me feel like the characters were so real, like I knew them as people. I was invested in what was happening to them and where their paths would lead them. You followed a couple siblings and family members of the Call family, which is one of the clans that's basically fighting for control and territory in the island city of Janloon. Politics of this were so compelling, and even as someone who was never into Godfather crime family dramas before, I couldn't help but fall in love with this one. And if you want a book that will make you feel things, I would highly recommend this one. I have not finished the series yet, but I am planning on binging the rest of it this year, so hopefully I can join in the hype for all of this series. Thanks again, Fina.
Hi, my name is Sarah and I am from the channel Fairy Reads. First, I just want to thank Fina once again for having me on her channel. When she asked me to pick a book that makes my heart jump, my immediate reaction was the series Heaven Official's Blessing by MXTX. This is an 8-novel series that has been translated from Chinese. It was originally published as a web novel, and I love it. I read the last 5 books in the series last year, and I read them all within 2 weeks, so I could not put the series down. It starts with our main character ascending to become a heavenly official for the 3rd time, and throughout the course of the story you get to see how he ascended the first 2 times and why he was banished from being a heavenly official the 2 times that he was banished. Throughout the story there are so many moments that make your heart jump in every sense of the word. There are romantic moments, there are some of the most heartbreaking moments, there are happy moments, and everything in between. So this, of course, was the first series that came to mind when I saw Fina's prompt for this video. If you have not read something similar to this before, I think it takes a little bit of time to get into, but once you're into it, I think it is just unputdownable, if that's a word. I adore the main character and I can't wait to read this series again, even though I just finished it for the first time a few months ago.
Hey Fina, thanks so much for having me back on another one of these. And I struggled a little bit with this prompt because I'm like, what? A book that makes my heart jump. And I wasn't quite sure what direction that I wanted to go with. So I went maybe a different route, but I feel like it makes sense. Or I guess I'll have to see when I watch to see if this is a different route. But a book that kind of, I feel like, made my heart kind of like stop and then jump past the next beat, which would be Fool's Errand by Romantasy. I can't say too much about it. If you know, you know, with this particular book. But there is a scene in this book toward the end where it just, I read it and then I didn't quite realize what I was reading, and I just felt that, what just happened? I had to go back, read it again, and so that definitely is just like, I remember the exact moment that I read that particular scene. So that definitely, I think, is one for me that made it jump. But I'm really interested to see what everybody else says, and if I was the only one who struggled with this prompt a little bit. But yeah, we're going to go with Fool's Errand for me.
Hi Fina, thank you for inviting me to be part of this video. My name is Lisa from Lisa Does Life, and I am here to give you a recommendation for a book that will make your heart jump. You read a lot of fantasy but a lot of romance, so they can make your heart jump for very different reasons. But I'm going to pick Of Blood and Fire by Ryan Cahill. This was one of my first like epic high fantasy indie books that I picked up. And this is just, it's so good. It follows Kaelin and his friends. I don't want to tell you too much, but there's battles, there's dragons, there's found family, there's heartbreak. The way I've interpreted this is that it makes your heart jump out of your chest when bad things happen to the characters that you grow to love within this whole series. But this is the first book in the series, so this is my recommendation to you. If you like, it gives me very much John Gwynne vibes. It's such a great blend of world building and character development, and Ryan Cahill is just one of my favourites. I really hope that you get the chance to pick up this book and this series, and I hope you enjoy.
What's up, book beasties? Thank you to Josephine for including me in this awesome collaboration where we talk about books that set our hearts aflutter. But I really do love the dark and dastardly dark fantasy books. They're my favorite, grimdark, that kind of stuff. So I wanted to think outside the box and think about some of my favorite books and how they made my heart aflutter, despite also ripping out my heart and stomping on it, which, let's all be honest, that's what love does sometimes. Empire of the Vampire. Now, why did this do that for me? Because our main character has such a strong love for his wife and his family, for his child, and just seeing that story develop as he takes you through the account of his life and his story is just a beautiful thing. And then when some of the things that he goes through and some of the loss and the grief that he deals with, wrapped up with his family, you just feel it even more. Thanks so much, Josephine. Appreciate it. Happy Valentine's Day this month, everybody. Happy month of love. I hope everybody feels loved, feels special because y'all are.
Hi, I'm sneaking in very shamelessly here because I wanted to share a book as well. No worries, there are a lot more recommendations to come. You're not even halfway through right now. I want to recommend a book that makes the heart jump of every reader because it's a book about the love for books and an appreciation for the reader, and that is The City of Dreaming Books by Walter Mörs. This book is about Optimus Yarnspinner, who finds a manuscript of an unknown author in the possessions of his late grandfather, and he is journeying to Bookholm, the City of Dreaming Books, to figure out who the author is. In Bookholm, you can find anything a reader's heart or an author's heart really would want, from signed first editions to people who want to critique your work. But be careful, Bookholm also has a very dark side. This book is full of literary quests, the love for language, bookish puns, and while it is part of the Simonian world, you can read it as a standalone. And with that, on to the remaining recommendations.
Hello, Fine. Thank you very much for inviting me to contribute to your BookTubers Recommend for February. I'm very excited to be here and offer my input. I'm Ted, and my channel on BookTube is Ted Read Instead. And you had asked for books that make our heart jump, and I wasn't sure how to interpret it, but you told me to interpret it any way I wanted to. So I decided to have it be interpreted on what makes my heart jump emotionally. And this book here, Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir, definitely fit the bill. It's a science fiction book. I had no idea that I would be weeping like a baby by the end of it for science fiction. One of my all-time favorite books. Such an awesome book, and it definitely made my heart move. So definitely, if you have not read Andy Weir's Project Hail Mary, do it. Again, Fine, thank you so much, and I hope you all have a blessed day. Bye for now.
Hi, my name is Josh from Already Booked. Thank you, Fina, for having me on your channel. You asked for a recommendation of a book that makes my heart jump. This one can go really multiple ways, but the one book that came to me first has to be Lightbringer by Pierce Brown. What makes Lightbringer such a heart-jumping experience isn't just the breakneck action, it's the emotional weight behind every battle and every single sacrifice. Brown's writing forces you to deeply care about these characters, making every twist hit like a shockwave. Whether it's the brutal fight scenes, the desperate gambles, or those quiet moments of reflection before the next storm, the book never gives you a chance to breathe. Now, if you love books that keep you up at night, your pulse racing, and your emotions soaring, Lightbringer is a must read. It's not just a story, it's an experience that will leave you breathless. Fina, thank you so much for having me, and I hope you have a good one.
Hello, my name is Venus from the channel Venus Escapes to Read. Thank you so much, Fina, for inviting me again on a collaboration. The book that I chose that made my heart jump when I was reading it is Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. This is a thriller. It reads very cinematic. It is fast-paced. It will have your heart racing. It is about two fathers, one black, one white, who are ex-criminals, and their sons were married and they were murdered. So they have to work together to try to figure out what happened to their sons. You're also dealing with their grief because neither one of them had very good relationships with their sons. When I was reading this, I pictured Matthew McConaughey, Denzel Washington, and the cast of Sons of Anarchy playing in a movie remake of this book. It was so good. I could not put it down. It was well written. It covered so many intense topics, and I highly recommend it. Thanks again, Fina.
What up, nerds? My name is Leslie Smith, and I am from the channel The Nerdy Narrative. Huge thank you to Feeney for inviting me to be a part of this BookTube collaboration about a book that makes my heart jump. Now, Feeny told me it was up to my interpretation, and while a lot of people might look at that and go, okay, it's February, we're talking about a book we love. No, your girl here has a black heart, and I immediately went straight into the horror vein, and the first book I could think of that really made my heart pound, had me literally panting a few times. It was so insane. How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix, which if you do watch my channel, you know I don't have the best track record with this author, but this is the one where he made me a fan. I love haunted house stories, and that's why I tried this one after I had a couple I didn't like by him. It's the atmosphere, the writing style of this author, and the atmosphere that he captured of this haunted house just had my heart pounding. I'm not kidding. I was sitting there reading. I couldn't stop reading. It was late at night. I don't typically read horror stories at night. I couldn't put it down. I had to know what was going to happen next. Yes, I had bad dreams. Yes, I had several nights where I didn't sleep good. Was it worth it? Absolutely. So if you enjoy books that make your heart pound because they're scaring you to death, I would absolutely recommend giving this one a try. So yeah, definitely a solid choice for a book that made my heart jump.
Hey Fina, Andrew's Wizardly Reads here, and you asked me for a recommendation about a book that makes your heart jump. And since I know when this video is going to come out, I'm going to come out with an interesting answer. You could choose any of these 3 books by F. Paul Wilson from the Adversary Cycle. I'm currently reading The Touch, and all of these books have horror, they have romance, they have adventure, they have just everything that I love that makes my heart jump. And you know, I think the romance is pretty well done. So yeah, I mean, you can go Rikoshi, you can go The Keep, you can go The Touch. I mean, these are fantastic, and I think they fit the prompt fairly well.
Hi everyone, my name's Marissa. I'm from Margins of Marissa. Fina, thank you so much for having me. I am so excited to be a part of this BookTube Recommends collab. Now, I know it's Valentine's Day, but what really makes my heart jump is a good horror novel. So today, I'm going to recommend you one of my favorites and one of the scariest books I have ever read. And that would be Let Me In by John Ajvide Lindqvist. This story follows a 12-year-old boy who's dealing with loneliness and a fascination with murder. Then one day, a young girl moves into his apartment complex, and suddenly, bodies are being found drained of blood. I'll let you connect those dots. When I picked this book up, it's the first time I ever remember feeling fear while reading, the true terror of being afraid to turn the page and see what's going to happen next. If you haven't experienced that yet, then you need to pick up Let Me In. But please check trigger warnings before you do. Thanks again, Fina, for having me.
Hello everybody, I am Alyssa from Heartwild's Library, and first, big thank you to Fina for inviting me to take part in this collaboration. So, a book that made my heart jump. I have decided to go with a horror book because why not? We all love horror on Valentine's Day. And that would be the book Boys in the Valley by Philip Fracassi. This is a story about a orphanage up in the mountains. It's a cold winter night and a demonic force makes its way into this orphanage that houses boys between the age of 5 and 16. And some very horrific things happen, and I just remember reading through this book. I read it like in a day. I could not put it down. It kept making me go, oh God, oh God. As I was reading through this book, I just could not get enough of it. The things that these boys go through, horrific. But absolutely a heart jumper. Absolutely a heart jumper, and I highly recommend it if you are a big horror fan.
Hi friends, I am Stacy the Chapter Conundrum, and this is
Jake from the Bookish Drummer.
Yes, and we are back again to do another fun collab with Fina. This time, books that make your heart jump.
Yes, and I'm probably going to go for a different approach than maybe some of y'all will. I'm actually picking a horror book, and that would be Wonderland by Zoe Stage, one of my all-time favorite horror authors. And the prompt is makes your heart jump, and when I hear that, I think something that really kind of makes your heart skip a beat, like
your heart skip a beat.
Your heart skip a beat, like something crazy just happened, like oh God. And this book has a lot of those kind of moments. It's kind of her take on like The Shining, because like this family kind of moves to this wintry area,
upstate New York.
Yes, and then weird spooky stuff starts happening, and there's a lot of times in this book where I'm taken aback by what's happening. So that's my take on this prompt.
All right, well, I'm taking a different approach, seeing as this is going out, I think, on Valentine's Day, or at least very close to Valentine's Day. And I chose a romantasy. And this made my heart skip because I loved the romance in it, first of all. But then I also enjoyed that there was a tense plot once you got introduced to the romance. And I am talking about Radiance by Grace Draven. And this is the first book in an indie series. I think it's Wraith Kings is the series name. But essentially, this is kind of like a strangers to friends to lovers romance, which I usually don't go for. But I just loved the way that Grace Draven handled this story. You have two people from different races at the beginning of the book who are put into a marriage of convenience for political gain. They're both kind of appalled by each other up front, but then they grow to learn more about each other and realize, hey, we actually like the people that we are underneath. And it's just really cute to watch these two cinnamon rolls come together and kind of ally themselves on the same team. And then they face some pretty tense situations and some pretty messed up stuff after that. So it makes your heart skip a beat in watching them come together because you want to protect them at all costs. And then also the stuff they deal with afterwards has you going.
So my book doesn't really have romance, but it is red for Valentine's Day.
Oh, that's the seller.
Yep, that's red. There you go.
What am I gonna do with him?
Thank you, Josephina.
Thanks, Fina.
Hello, my name is Yelena. Thank you so much, Fina, for inviting me to this rather challenging task. I chose for the book that makes my heart jump, Happy Place by Emily Henry, solely because of the last third of the book that made my heart jump, sink, go down, sideways, everywhere. So well done. Now, this is a book about Wyatt and Harriet. They have been a couple for a very long time, and even fiancés. They are in a bigger friend group that goes to a specific place every year for the summer holidays, and this year they broke up 6 months before that holiday. Now this year is special because their place is supposed to be sold, where they always go. And they are keeping their breakup a secret because they don't want to destroy their last summer there with their friends. Now you can see how that might be a problem. They know each other for a very long time, and then faking a relationship after, you broke up your engagement. I can see how, you can see how that is going to be a problem. However, it's so very well done. This read was my read for our 4th wedding anniversary. We always go over that weekend away. And it was such a good pick. And I had no clue because it was my first Emily Henry. Won't be my last. Hope you have fun with it.
Hi, my name is Amanda. Fina, thank you so much for asking me again to join this recommendation video. I am going to be recommending Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. This book came out in 2022, but I just discovered it last year, and it's the first book in like a little series that has to do with the same town, not necessarily the same people, but the same town. And this was just so good. I gave it 5 stars. Alexis, our main character, is an ER doctor, and that's kind of what she would like to do, is just continue to be just a regular doctor. But she has this family legacy of famous surgeons in her family and all kinds of stuff. And so she has all these expectations on her from her family to be more than just an ER doctor. And then she meets Daniel, who is just super laid back and chill, and he's a carpenter. And so his small town that he lives in is just slow pace and tight knit, and everybody, the side characters, are great. And everybody just does such a good job of being helpful and neighborly. And Alexis is from a go world and family and everything. And so the two of them, I love the cover of this, how we have her being in the city and him being in a small town. And that's exactly what this is like. And it's the two of them finding a way to come together in spite of all the differences that they have. And Alexis ultimately learning that she can be true to herself and still be a member of her family. So I thought that this was fantastic, and I will be continuing to read this whole series. So Part of Your World is my book that makes my heart jump.
So much love for books. It's incredible. Thank you to all my amazing BookTube friends who joined for this collaboration and provided a recommendation. And I hope you found some new amazing recommendations that will make your heart jump. Don't forget to check down in the description box for the links to all these amazing BookTubers channels. Hop on over there, go say hi, subscribe if you like their videos. And while you're down in the description box, also if you wouldn't mind, hit the subscribe button for my channel, especially if you like videos like this and want more of them. And then don't forget to add your recommendation to the prompt books that make your heart jump down below. What would you have picked? And if you need more recommendation, check out all the other BookTube Recommends videos that are out there. There are even more recommendations if you needed more books on your TBR. And then I hope I'll see you soon with another video. Till then, have an amazing rest of your day. Bye!